Hi, my name is Paul Church from Claritystamp here in the UK. Today I'd like to showcase a couple of items for you. The first one is some of our designer papers that we've recently launched. We've got two beautiful collections designed by Dee Paramore, and I thought what I would do is just flick through so that you can have a look. The first one is Great Lakes. And what you'll find with our designer papers is that they have a really nice dynamic image on the front, and then on the reverse you get a more softer tone. So these are great for matting and layering. What you'll find with the Great Lakes collection is that there's a beautiful selection of colourways with sort of some greens and yellows and aquas. These are perfect throughout the year, but when you look at some of the designs, you'll notice that they're perfect for Christmas as well. So we'll just have a little flick through. I love this one, very mixed media. So if you're into your mixed media, then these are great because all the work's been done for you. We've got some beautiful foliage here as well, and again, the beautiful soft tones on the reverse. Another of my favourites is the beautiful lace effect. So that brings us to the end of the Great Lakes, and now we go into the toffee apple, which is rich and warm in colourways. I love this one. You've got some real nice vibrant colours in here. So again, although not specifically for Christmas, these are great to use throughout the year. Look at the colours on this one. Absolutely gorgeous. With our backing papers, in each of the pads you're going to get 12 different designs and you're going to get 4 of each. And when you look, I mean, really, as a collector of paper, you're only really going to use 3 of them because one of them you're going to keep to stroke and sniff, and because that's what we do when we get new paper pads. This one, I love this, the sort of like the coffee stain rings and everything else. Another one here with sort of holly on there. This is great as well. So we'll just finish off. Oh, I like this one. Look how vibrant that is. And when you look at some of the papers, you may think, oh, they're a little bit too fussy. But when you use them as a background or for matting and layering, then they're perfect. So what I thought I'd showcase today, apart from the new designer papers, is one of our fresh cut 4x4 aperture dies. And we've got in this particular collection, we've got a pair of wrens, we have a pair of waxwings, and also a pair of crested tits. So for this sample, what I'm going to do is show you how we can use the beautiful pair of waxwings. So I'll just hold that there so you can just sort of see that. Okay. So and when you look, when I've done this as a top opening card, so when you open it, you've got the really nice background inside, and you can see, if I put this on the overhead, the beautiful, delicate filigree sort of aperture of the design. Right, so where do we start? First off, I'm going to take a card blank, and this card blank is a 7x7. So to make sure that I get the die in the centre of the card, what I'm going to do, I'm going to take a ruler and go from corner to corner and just draw a pencil line partially in place, okay? And then I'll do it in the opposite diagonal corners as well. And all this is going to do is just give me a guide for positioning my die. So now, when I pop that in place, I know if I line each of the corners up, that it's going to be central to my card blank. Okay. Now I'm not worried about the pencil lines because I've got options. I can rub those out, but when we look at the finished sample, it's all covered up anyway. So I'm going to take some low tack tape and I'm just going to place this on there to hold it, to stop it moving around. So we'll just get that where we need it to be. Pop that on there. Okay. And then I'm going to bring in my plates. Now I use the Gemini, but all of our dies work in most leading die cutting machines. Some of them are different sizes and you're restricted on the mouth. I'm using the normal Gemini. So I've got my clear cutting plate. I've got a poly bag, which has several uses. So you can go back and look at some of the other die cutting YouTubes and where I explain why we use that. Then I'm going to open my card out. Then I'm going to take my frosted plate, my magnetic shim, to act just as the shim rather than to hold it in place, and the clear plate again. And then I'm just going to run that through the machine. Okay, so now for the reveal. So carefully remove the low tack tape. Easy does it. Pop that on there for later. And remove that from there. And what you'll also notice that our dies are blue, and the reason they're blue is because they've got a special coating, which means that when I remove it from the card blank, you'll see that it releases very easily. And if I take this and just tap, you'll notice, where's my little pokey tool? Dum dum dum. There we go. I knew it was here. So just going to use the product. I like using the brush. I think it's less abrasive. But now you can see all those pieces are out completely. Okay, so we're going to pop that to one side. Get rid of the rubbish. Pop that on there. And then when I bring this into play, you'll see as I remove it, it's completely empty. Okay, so the purpose of our aperture dies is that no matter what size the card blank is, it will always keep the image in there. So it doesn't have an outer cutting edge. So now we've got our design, we can now start to build it up. So I'm going to bring in our nested circles, which we also have available on the website. And you've got 11 different sizes, and they go from 1 inch up to 6 inches in 1/2 inch increments. So for this particular one, I'm going to use 1, 2, 3, the 4th one in. And I'm going to take a piece of white card that I've already cut down to size. So I'm going to pop that in the middle there. Low tack tape again. Pop that there. And pop that there. So that can now be run through the machine. And while that's running through, I can get the next stage ready. Okay, so carefully release the tape and do the same just there. So that's now given us our circle aperture, and we've got a nice topper that we can use for another project later. So we're going to pop that to one side as well. Now, decisions, what paper am I going to use? I really love the colourways in the Great Lakes. And because if I bring the finished card in, there's not much being revealed in relation to the finished card. So I can use any of these designs really. And it's going to work because of the same colour tones. Now I love this one. So what I've done is I've already pre-cut a piece down to size so that it will fit perfectly onto my card. And I'm going to pop that in there. And now I'm going to bring our nested squares into play. So again, it's the same as the circles. We've got 11 dies from 1 inch up to 6 inch in 1/2 inch increments. So I'm going for 1, 2, 3, 4, the 5th one. I think it was the 5th I went on the circle as well. So if I just pop that into place there, I could use the same thing where I'd use the ruler to make sure that I get it in the perfect position. But you know what, I reckon I can do this by eye. He says, famous last words. So I'm going to pop that just there and just on there. And then we'll run that through. Oops, very low tack that one. And we'll just run that through again. Right, so again, carefully remove the tape. With the low tack tape, I tend to use it probably about 2 or 3 times. Because what can happen with the pressure of the machine, it can make it become really tacky. So just a couple of times and then I bin it and use another piece. So I've now got my frame and I've got a panel as well. And when I turn it over, I've got the beautiful colourways that sort of allows it to tie in. So let's start to assemble the finished card now. So let's bring all our pieces back into play. So we've got the frame there, we've got the inner panel, we've got our circle aperture, and then we've got our die cut card. So I'm going to open this up flat, and I'm going to take this, and what you'll see is that when I position this on here, I can still see a bit of the white frame just on the inside, which is what I want. So I'm going to take, see again, look, it works perfectly with the softer side as well. So you can decide whether you want the more vibrant side or the softer side. And I like the vibrant side. So we're going to use some tape runner. You could use double-sided tape, you can use a wet glue, whatever you prefer to use. Okay. And then I'm just going to slowly bring that into play until I'm happy with its position, and then I shall just press that down all the way around. So that's now given us our frame. Next, I'm going to take the circle and I'm going to stick that over the top. So really what I'm doing is I'm taking a square aperture and giving it the effect of having a circular aperture. So we'll just do exactly the same, and I can make sure I've got a nice equal border all the way around. And I'm also looking at the inside to make sure, so that's on a little bit wonky, technical term that is, and put that in place. And then for the inside, again, I can decide whether I want a more vibrant colourway or whether I want the softer side. So I'm going to go for the softer side. And we're going to put some tape on there. And what I'm going to do to help me with my positioning is I'm going to pop that over there so I know it's completely covered up. And then I'm going to bring the back of the card over and press down. So that means when I turn it over, that is in the position it needs to be. So finishing touches. I think it needs a bit of a sentiment. So if I have a look at the one that I did, I used this one for Christmas. But what I'm going to do is use this one as an everyday card. So a piece of paper that I chopped off to create the frame, I'm going to take that, and I'm going to take black archival, and I'm going to use Friendship, one of our word chains, and then I'm just going to ink up the stamp. And then I'm going to position that just there. Use the flat of the handle to apply the pressure. Give it a little wiggle. And that's it. We'll lift that off and we've got a nice, crisp, clean impression. So the next thing I want to do is just trim that down. So the trusty trimmer comes into play. And when I'm doing bits like this, I don't tend to measure. I tend to stamp out first and then trim down to size. But some people prefer to trim and then stamp. So we'll just make that an equal side round there. So I've now got Friendship. And then I can decide where I want to position it. So I could go in the middle, I could go off centre. What do you reckon? I reckon it looks quite nice in the middle. So I'm going to put some tape just on the bottom of that. And then position that in place. So there we have it. So we've got a really nice, I think the birds are great for men's cards as well. And we're always struggling to make cards for men. So men's cards, everyday cards, or they also work perfectly as a Christmas card as well. So I hope you've enjoyed today's tutorial, and if you have, then like and subscribe below. Barbara blogs every single day, barbaragrayblog.com. And if you're interested in what I've done today and the products, check out our website, claritystamp.com. Thanks for tuning in, and I'll see you again next time. Thank you. Bye-bye.